fruits. I have been, and always shall be, your friend.
Oh, it used to be so good. We used to be spoiled with exceptional writing, exceptional directing, and pretty exceptional acting, whether it was film or TV or even like radio shows. If you guys, they do them sometimes now, but it used to be like How the War of the Worlds. They started at the beginning like, this is not a real broadcast. We're acting, but they only said it at the beginning, and then the world started to like collectively lose its mind, the people that were hearing it, until they got corrected. And it's just, I don't know. It's crazy because, I mean, unless you've been under a rock, it's pretty obvious that the entire country, with the exception of some very blue holdouts, gave a mandate, not just a political one, but a cultural one, and essentially said, like, F this shit, we're out. Like, fix it now. And that brings up a really interesting, I guess, scenario or question. The gay Republican, whom, if you don't know him, he's hilarious. He's here on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, X, all of the things. And it's interesting because he asked a question. He posted, he was like, "Hey, I'm not really sure what's going on right now. I'm feeling a little lost. Can somebody give me like some advice?" And I was like, "You're adrenaline dumping. The fight's over. Like, the objective has been obtained. There was no clear follow-up objective. So now what do you do?" And it's actually it got me thinking a lot, because we are quickly approaching, and I mean very quickly approaching, a similar situation when it comes to fandom in general. Disney had their earnings call, and it was relatively uneventful. Nothing really shook out of the trees, right? Bob Iger was like, "We're very excited for," brought up Inside Out 2 and Deadpool and Wolverine, of course, as often as he could. But as far as the forward-looking statements and the upcoming product, because let's face it, that's what they do. They create product. I have got to get a new chair. Sorry, guys. So their upcoming product and their forward-looking statements, there wasn't a whole lot to go off of. And then, unless you were living under that same rock, I mean, it's possible you've not heard the news since Friday, but it made the rounds like insanely quickly. But I just find it interesting. This news right here, if I can, I know how to do this, guys. I promise. Oh my good golly gee willikers. Come on. Technology and I need to find I don't know. There we go. I gotta find the Rosetta Stone for technology. Anyway, anywho diddly dunk. The Star Wars movie that was supposed to come out in 2026 has been removed. And it's been replaced with Ice Age 6. I can't believe they're on number 6. And it makes you wonder if the sequel trilogy, as they like to call it, but we know it's just the Disney trilogy, it's not really the sequel trilogy. If the Disney trilogy had been so successful, and if they really were having all of this profit from all of these manufactured, like assembly line manufactured, I don't even know what to, like, it is product, but it's just, it's insane. And if all of this really was as successful as Iger and the people that were on the call with him, whose names escape me, if they were making that much money, and if the outlook was positive, and if people are more excited for Star Wars than ever before, why are you getting rid of your movie in 2026? What is happening? Because if you remember, it was going to be a Star Wars film every other year. And we have not had one since 2019. That's a long time. And now they just shit-canned this one. And I find it shocking that Iger is going to go onto because this isn't a like you went to bed Thursday and woke up Friday and made this decision. You knew you were doing this when you got on that call with the different investors. You knew thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people were going to listen to that call. And at no point was that even remotely brought up. Why? Because it would have hurt it would have hurt their stock price, which they can't afford any more than has already been utterly just eviscerated. I mean, guys, think about it. Disney owns the rights to Star Wars. They own the rights to Indiana Jones. They got LucasArts and they closed it. They have Pixar. They own the Disney princesses. Like, at some point, this becomes fraud. There is something, Two's nose beat me to it. Yes, there is something called fiduciary responsibility, and they are not fulfilling it. You do not spend billions of dollars on an IP and strangle it so that you only get a fraction of that cost back. This is, I said it on Chrissy's Simcast a couple weeks ago, but these decisions are incredibly emotional. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make sense from a business perspective. It doesn't make sense from a human perspective. And not only are... So here is the other thing. The indie sphere has never looked more appealing. I mean, between being able to crowdfund, being able to use either Kickstart or Give Send Go or any of Indiegogo or any of the other products. And if you have now they've got Ripasend for distribution. If you have a finished product and you're just looking for a way to distribute it, I don't know all of the ins and outs of that, obviously, but there is a distribution possibility there, which is huge because distribution is one of the trickiest things. I will never forget, we were in business school and it was, you cannot allow the moment, like one of the biggest things that they told us when it came to logistics and stuff like that, you cannot allow momentum to become the constraint, which means if you grow to, like, you have to have a way to push out whatever it is that you're trying to sell correctly and properly, because piss poor marketing has hurt so many projects. They never got off the ground. And now we live in this like cookie cutter. Even the trailers are identical. I mean, you could have put Gladiator 2, the trailer for Gladiator 2, until it turned into rap music of all things. But you could have put Gladiator 2 up next to Rings of Power and put like a black screen over them. And if you played the trailer music, you would not be able, like I said, until it got to the rap part. If you only played the trailer music, rather than it being a distinctive to that IP, you can't tell them apart. There is no distinction possible. They all have that like that huge like giant drop. So everybody is afraid to do the next thing. Like, and it blows my mind because, again, you look at the indie sphere, and as much as I dislike what they did with Winnie the Pooh, they're on Blood and Honey #3 or something like that. And it was super cheap to make. And they're making money hand over fist with Winnie the Pooh horror. There is absolutely no reason why these companies shouldn't be able to recover and pivot. And I'm just sitting here like, I am not in charge of a multi-billion-dollar corporation. But even I can look at this and go, whatever decisions you are making are not sound business decisions. And the people funding you need to do something and do something quickly. Oh my gosh, Pug Fury became a new member. Thank you so very much. I really genuinely appreciate that. Join at the Ocarina level. Thank you so much. But this decade long just misery quest of destruction and self-insertion and anti-creativity. Psychotic Mongoose, you're an angel. Thank you for the gifted membership. I'm flabbergasted because at some point, like, you can only, or at least anybody with a brain should only be able to be lied to a handful of times. And even that is pushing it. Like, you know, people can be like, oh, patience is a virtue. Good, like, patience, but like, patience will pay off. You just got to be patient. But it's been a decade. And here's the thing. I am in their target demographic. I'm who they were waiting for to grow up and become adults and love this stuff. And I utterly hate it. I cannot put into words how much I loathe what they have done to so many franchises that I love. Not even franchise, like stuff that shouldn't be a franchise. Star Wars is obviously a franchise. It was built as such. Star Trek franchise built as such. But it didn't start out that way. I mean, do you think that if the very Star Wars was a flop, the very first movie, do you think George Lucas would have been able to make the episode 5 and episode 5 and 6? No. Do you think that if and Star Trek has been close to canceled several times in the past? Blabs. What do you mean, rate? Oh no. I'm glad you're joking. Hello, sweetheart. Anyway, the insanity that you're going to sit in a call with investors, tell them that the future has never looked brighter, and then the next day you are going to cancel a film from your largest franchise acquisition. Like, everybody can say what they want about Marvels and the MCU, but when Star Wars was purchased, when Lucasfilm was purchased, it was and still is the largest IP that Disney has acquired, and they utterly destroyed it. It has been eviscerated. Why? Because a woman hates, because a petty, vindictive woman who sits in the seat of power at that studio hates men and hates the fans, hates the people who built this IP into the multi-billion-dollar juggernaut that it is. And people can say, oh, well, he bought Lucasfilm. It's not just Star Wars. He got Indiana Jones. He got LucasArts. He got a couple other projects as well. And you sit there and you're like, okay, but they purchased it specifically for Star Wars. In fact, I am fairly certain, if you can all give me a moment, clickety clackety, and this chair is going to fall apart on me. But they purchased it because they needed boy, they literally called it a boy IP. And it's insane to me that a decade and a half later, they've had this bitch since 2012. 2012. They bought it for $4 billion. And you're telling me that... Here, we'll go to Wired. This is all the way back from... No, we're not going to do that article. I remember that article. Gross. New York Times. Is this a free one? Maybe. Possibly. It's an archived page, so we'll roll with it. Here we go. Disney buying Lucasfilm for $4 billion. You do not... And look who... Stormtroopers. They didn't buy this thing for Indiana Jones. Okay? They didn't. It's that simple. They did not buy Lucasfilm Ltd. for Indiana Jones. Though that was a plus, I'm sure. They did not buy it for LucasArts, which they then shuttered, which still blows my mind. Honestly, truly, it breaks my heart. They didn't buy it for Willow, even though they utterly destroyed that too. I'm trying to think what else. My brain needs a nap. Regardless, they did not purchase Lucasfilm for any of those other IPs. They bought it for Star Wars. So they spent $4 billion on Star Wars. That's what they did. And it was because they wanted a boy IP so they could bring more boys to Disney. And then what did they do? They turned it into a girl IP. And you know, I know multiple other people have said this, but here's the thing. When you do something like that, when you fundamentally change the core tenets of an IP to try and shoehorn in your own ideology, you're wrong. You're simply just wrong. So, for them to, first of all, I know I'm not the only one. In fact, you know what? Disney is somewhat kind about this. I'll save you guys from my clickety-clack searching. But why don't we go back? I don't remember. Oh gosh, what was that called? Their first go at it. The Farce Awakens. I walked out of that movie and I looked at my husband and I was like, that was actually horrible. I got pissed off. I got pissed off when they called the Millennium Falcon trash. And everybody tried to tell me, no, you don't understand. That was supposed to be, gosh, what's the word they like to use? Homage. It was an homage to when Luke called it a hunk of junk. And I was like, no. There was pure hatred. There was pure hatred behind her calling it trash. That was directed at fans. And everybody called me crazy. Oh yeah, Howard the Duck. Yes, that was Lucasfilm. Thank you, Vespian. So let's take a look. I know I can't be the only one who thought that. Hold on, I'm gonna have to reshare this with sound. See, I caught myself this time. I can't be the only one that thought that Finn was the main character. I can't be. Let's go back and take a look-see, Lou. Well, this turned into a big heaping of not remember. Like, this is literally the entire scene from the movie. They made this look like it was going to be something so cool, and it's.
Who are you?
Ugh, this thing. A beach ball.
I'm no one.
I'm no one. Yes, you are correct. You are absolutely no one, Rey. Palpatine. So, we're supposed to believe that because she scavenges parts, she is a super pilot. I wonder what this is.
I was raised to do one thing. But I've got nothing to fight for.
You know, rewatching this trailer for the first time in years and listening to the messaging that is in this, I don't know how I missed it the first time. You can't tell me you didn't think Finn was not the main character.
Nothing will stand in our way.
Or Adam Driver.
Finish what you start.
I still, like, how do you have this helmet? How do you have this helmet? Okay, so we have our 3. We thought we had our 3, just like before. I remember being so excited when I saw this trailer.
There are stories about what.
I'm gonna get nailed for the music, but I don't care. Oh, member berry. Remember when? So everybody's like, oh my gosh, this is Tatooine. There must have been a huge, like, final battle out on the Outer Rim. So great. Nope, not at all. The Millennium Falcon just ended up on a random desert planet that looks a lot like Tatooine. But it isn't Tatooine. Because they have it's not homage. It's, we are straight up ripping off the OT because we have not a creative bone in our body.
What happened?
I will give it this. Even hearing that score in the background, I'm just like, ah. I fell for this hook, line, and sinker, and then I went and watched the movie, and I still remember that visceral betrayal. That visceral betrayal. And I don't know. It's like just rewatching this is just pissing me off for a whole bunch of reasons.
It's true. All of it.
Oh my god, I remember the screaming. I remember the screaming when I saw this because this came out. So this trailer dropped in 2015. And the show, sorry, where I come from, everything is a show. The movie came out in 2016. And I was with a bunch of my Marine buddies. And they were just like, dude! And we were like, what? And then do you guys remember when casting to your TV was like the new big deal? He could do that with his pad thing. And so he cast it up to the TV and we all watched it. We were like, no way! I remember how freaking excited we all were. Oh, holy crap. Hello, D-Day Direwolf, who's been a member for 24 months. Yo, thank you for your support and love. I appreciate you. And he came on. We were just like, yes! Han Solo! Like how... I will give J.J. Abrams this. That man knows how to bait a trap. Holy... Talk about honeypot. Good Lord. Oh, this crisps me out. That John Williams, like, just listen to. Look at what they had. Do you guys remember? I remember when ticket sales went live and the sites were crashing because so many people were trying to get tickets to The Force Awakens. So many people were like, yes, we've been begging for this for a decade. And then we saw it. I still to this day have never, my cousin came over and never got to see so I had a friend come over. We were there and one of them, I won't say who, but it was a horrible, horrible idea. They were like, hey, I've never seen The Last Jedi yet. I didn't go to it in theaters. I had no intention of watching it whatsoever. And they were like, it's streaming on Amazon. Can we watch it? I was like, I guess. Bro, I walked out of there within 10 minutes of because you see Luke Skywalker chucks his lightsaber behind him, drinks blue-green titty milk, and turns into grumpy old get off my lawn man. When the world is literally falling apart, the galaxy is falling apart, and he's just sipping on his blue-green titty milk. Utterly insane. Oh my gosh, this could have been what could have been is what breaks my heart more than what we actually got. What could have been breaks my heart so much more. And when people are like, "Oh, you can't actually know. You can't actually know how much money they would have made or whatever." I'm like, yeah, I do actually. I know exactly how much money they could have made. Oh, I'm surprised my stream hasn't gotten hit yet. Because that John Williams music, Disney is pretty forgiving with most stuff, but John Williams is not.
The dark side.
Look at this! It could have been so good! You can't tell me you didn't think Finn was the main character.
Jedi.
Oh yeah, and by the way, he did that on purpose. I'll shut up now. I know, shocking for a woman, but like, listen to Han Solo's line.
A Jedi.
Bro. The bait and switch in this freaking movie. Holy bejesus. The explosions, the running, the droids. We've got our new 3.
They're real.
You see the hand, you know it's Luke. You see R2-D2. You're like, oh my gosh. Look at this.
It's calling to you.
There's still, what, 45 seconds left of this trailer, and I just keep, this is obviously supposed to look like Hoth. It makes me so mad watching this now. Oh my god. Look at what we could have had! Look at what we could have had. Oh, and you know what? All you had to do, just put Luke, and that was a half a second. Hang on. No. Just put Luke in that scene. Just put Luke in this scene. That's all you had to do. Gross. Just disgusting. This is how my heart feels. I feel Leia. I feel you, Leia. Look, you can't tell me! Oh my god, this whole trailer is just a freaking bait and switch. Oh, and then to turn him into a janitor was just unnecessary and freaking insulting.
Just let it in.
No. You don't get into my heart anymore. Nope. I'm actually pissed off. I didn't think that but like, it actually makes me angry. And here's the thing. Elon Musk can't buy everything. But I don't know another billionaire. I don't know another billionaire who cares about this stuff. And this is part of the problem. This is why we lose so much when it comes to the youth, or the Ute. If you guys ever watched My Cousin Vinny, the 2 Utes. But this is why Republicans struggle with capturing the youth. They have disregarded and diminished how important pop culture and fandom are. And yeah, you get so, like, I never did. I knew how important it was. But my gosh, like, rewatching that trailer, there was so much we could have had. So much that we should have had. And so I refer back to my poll, like, can the franchise damage be salvaged? 41 votes, and 3/4 of you basically have said no, it can't. And I would agree with you. I think there is a difference between brand loyalty and franchise loyalty, because the brand is who owns it. Lucasfilm no longer owns Star Wars because Lucasfilm is owned by Disney. Lucasfilm is a subsidiary of Disney, and they will never let it go. Like, with their dying breath, they will never let it go. And they will screw over the fans on their way to the grave. They don't care. Iger obviously doesn't care because he got on the phone with tons of investors, hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of other people listening live, if not more, and never made mention that they were canceling a Disney film. Not just any Disney film, a Disney Star Wars film. I am utterly flabbergasted because you can't, and he got asked direct questions. What's the outlook on Star Wars? What's the outlook on this? What's the outlook on that? And what's really insane to me is that the stock price has recovered from yesterday. News came out yesterday and it dropped. Friday. And obviously, stock price went down. And then stock price went up because they announced that they were going to sell certain things. I forget exactly what. So Iger says he's going to share. Let's see. Yeah, Bob Iger sells off millions in Disney stock. One would assume that if the CEO of the company is selling off $40 million of a stock right after he had a uneventful, and I mean genuinely uneventful, earnings call, that something smells funny. Do these people not know what a crook is? Like, Disney CEO Bob Iger to sell up to $41 million in stock. Iger adopted the trading plan on August 14th that allows for potential exercise of his vested stock options. Now, people are saying, oh, well, that's because he's getting ready to retire for real. He wants his little nest egg. If Disney was healthy and doing well, and if you genuinely believed in its future performance, why would you sell off your stock options? The return on that interest would be more than enough to help you sit cushy. Like, this literally means again, I only have, guys, I don't run a multi-billion-dollar corporation. I did go to business school. And general rule of thumb, if the CEO is jumping ship, that means he knows something bad is about to happen. Just saying. Like, this is wild to me. And the fact that they're going to I honestly think it has to do with the Gina Carano lawsuit. I don't think Iger thinks they can win. I think that Iger sees the writing on the wall and he's like, just like how he got out right before the coup hit. Now he's getting out right before Snow White and the Gina Carano lawsuit. I'm just saying, I think he knows. Guys. They don't have a snowball's chance. And he is literally taking the money and running. Take the money and run. Like, oh, Pug Fury. Okay. I can hear the Imperial March when I look at Iger's face. All right. Well, thanks for coming, Pug Fury. And thank you for becoming a member. It really does mean a lot. Thank you. Hello. Guys, if you are not subscribed to Legend of the Traveling TARDIS, you definitely should be. They're amazing. Fandom may forgive, but we will definitely never forget. The only way for fandom to start to heal is if fans are respected. No, I completely agree. And also, Disney cannot be in charge of Lucasfilm. Like, when I said at the beginning of the stream, when Gay Republican asked that question, was like, and he goes, I'm not really sure where to go. I'm floundering a little bit. I'd love some advice. Honestly, if you sit down, if you guys can't see the cultural shifts that are happening, they're happening fast and hard and relentlessly. So it's happening. There's nothing that these companies can do to stop it. It's undeniable and unstoppable. Well, the thing is, if you actually sit down and focus, what would it take to, because I just showed my kiddos, so hubby wants to show them Candyman. The oldest one is 12. So I'm like, probably not. But we're gonna show them Raiders of the Lost Ark. I'm curious how they'll handle the melting faces. But all of these IPs that I genuinely love in their original state, I'm still gonna share with my children. Because, like it or not, the cultural impact and stuff like that of these films, it's genuinely undeniable. But it's so much more than that. It's something that we can share. It's something that we can start to talk about and have nuanced conversations about. And, when you look at Raiders, there are very few perfect films in this world. The Mummy, the 1999 Mummy, I think is another one. So when you have exceptional films like that, you can't not share them. But it just breaks my heart that Disney owns Lucasfilm now. And it was a breath of fresh air. I was talking to, for those that don't know, I'm a teacher. I was talking to some of the boys that I teach. And I was like, oh, you guys are talking about Star Wars? And they were like, yeah. Granted, now these are 10-year-olds. And I was like, oh, are you guys big fans of The Mandalorian and Baby Yoda? And they were like, no. I was like, oh, what? And then one of them said that there hasn't been a real Star Wars film since episode 3. And I cried. I was like, I mean, not really, but I was like, yes. I was just, obviously, I'm not supposed to promote my own stuff, but I was just like, yes. And it's insane on the face of it, but the kids are rejecting this stuff. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Because I thought I was gonna have to tear into these children. And no, they hate this stuff. They're like, it's not as good as it used to be. It's really boring. It's really simple. They're like, it's easy to figure out. The other Star Wars, they were like, the good thing, the cool thing about the prequel trilogy is you were trying to figure out, if there were spies or, who was the betrayer and who, they were like, yeah, we watched episode 1 and we didn't know that Senator Palpatine was the Emperor. And I was like, oh, I forgot that, it's not like they made it obvious. They very clearly, were not hinting, but it was they were very obviously suggesting that he was more than met the eye, But these are 10-year-old kids. And so, like, the reveal of Vader I'm so jealous because the reveal of Vader for them was brand new. Because I asked them, I was like, okay, what order did you watch it in? And they're like, well, we had to watch the old ones first and then the new ones, but we didn't like, we stopped after that because we don't like the sequels. And I was like, oh. So when they say the old ones, they mean the original trilogy. So they watched them in release order. So the Vader reveal for them, like, they had that shock. They were just like, yeah, I never saw it coming. And then they were talking about how they didn't realize that Emperor Palpatine that Senator Palpatine was the Emperor. They were like, yeah, no, we had no idea. And you know what? They love Jar Jar Binks. And so do I. Justice for Jar Jar, I tell you. Justice for Jar Jar. But it's so great that across generations we can share that. That's what it's supposed to do. Those are your stories, those are your mythologies, those are your cultural foundations. And so I don't think the damage can be salvaged, but I think that if we amputate the infected limbs and just like cut Disney out and be like, here, just take what you made, air quotes. We'll take the EU because you didn't want it. We'll take LucasArts because you didn't want it. And we'll take the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, the Willow movie. You can keep the Willow show. That's all yours. You keep that. And you keep those two shit-tastic Disney Indiana Jones films. We'll take the only real 3 Indiana Jones and like just utterly curb stomp Disney out of it. But I don't think, like I was saying, there's a difference between IP loyalty and brand loyalty. And I don't think the Star Wars fandom especially, but I don't think while Hollywood owns it, I don't think Lucasfilm is ever going to recover. Certainly not with KK helming it. But genuinely, truly, Iger is dumping his stock. They've canceled a Disney Star Wars movie. There is no real positives, no matter how much they want to, what is it? Try and polish this turd. So it is just, I don't understand. Ugh. Why would you strangle the golden goose? I don't get it. And you know what? Because you did it, I think you should let it go. Amazon should not, Amazon needs to let go of Lord of the Rings. They need to let it go. Let it go. There we go. I'll sing. And just Lord of the Rings does not belong at Amazon. Wheel of Time does not belong at Amazon. They don't know what they're doing. They don't care what they're doing. They wanted to brag on it being the most expensive show ever made. Then they wanted to walk that back when it utterly flopped. They tried to lie about the numbers. They tried so much spin and it didn't work because people are rejecting this crap. It's not good. It is objectively not good. And now we're at a point where the indie market has never been stronger. We're at a point where Disney is about, so if I remember correctly with what Matthew Marsden said a couple weeks ago on FNT, C.S. Lewis's IPs are about to go public. The Chronicles of Narnia are about to become public domain. I really, truly hope that somebody who loves that IP, who loves that series, can do it justice. Disney actually didn't do too bad with The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe rendition. They screwed some stuff up, but nothing overtly terrible. Why they aged up Prince Caspian so that he could fall in love with Susan is beyond me. I have absolutely no idea. I find that rather disgusting, quite frankly. But the indie market is so strong. And like I was saying earlier, you have all these avenues. And now there's Rip Ascend, where if you have a finished product, they can help you with distribution, which has been a huge hurdle for a lot of creatives. Because it's complicated and it sucks. And there's so much red tape. So for them to slice through that for everybody is a huge deal. I'm curious if fans would be willing to forgive some star. I don't think anybody's forgiven Rachel Zegler ever. That girl has destroyed her own career and she does not even know it. But the fact that they're now rooting for the downfall of one of their own, I mean, it's not surprising because these people are vindictive, vicious assholes. But so Red One is a Christmas movie. It's an action Christmas movie. And I'm actually going to go see this thing. I think that I was like, you know what? I like action and I like Christmas. I can take or leave The Rock, but you know what? I would love just a fun action movie. And who doesn't love Christmas? The critics hate it, so now I want to see it even more. But people in Hollywood are cheering for this to fail. Like, they are rooting for this to fail. They are rooting for this to fail. Because The Rock, for all his faults, and yes, I am aware, I was there in 2020, I remember, but he didn't do it this time around. So get this, because The Rock would not come out and endorse Biden and then eventually Kamala, because he would not endorse them, his Hollywood colleagues want this to fail. They want this to fail so bad that it destroys his career. That's where we're at, guys. That's where we're at. That makes me want to go see it all. Even if it is a crappy movie, I want to go watch it even more now. Because fuck those guys. I hate them more than like how are you going to sit there in your multi-million-dollar mansions, in your your tens of thousands of dollar shoes, eating overpriced meals, and tell me that I'm the one that is out of touch with reality? But yes, they are rooting for The Rock to fail because he did not beat the drum this time. No, he didn't endorse Trump. But him actively refraining from endorsement is apparently like a cardinal sin in Hollywood, I guess. Which is wild to me because these are the same people who are like, your vote is your own and it's private. Your husband doesn't need to know all this. Oh, it's getting crazy, guys. But yeah, they really, really, really want it to fail. They also really wanted Venom: The Last Dance to fail, but apparently it's made its money back. So it's interesting. Oh, Grabthar. Jeremy Renner wasn't on that phone call, and neither was Chris Hemsworth or Chris Pratt. Did we notice that? Yeah. There's a reason. There is a reason. But it's insane that The Rock agrees with them on almost every issue, and because he wouldn't endorse a presidential candidate, they want his career. Like, how do you think you are the good guy when you are actively rooting for one of your coworkers to have their entire career tank because they didn't like the same person as you? Or screw liking, just they didn't champion the same person you did. That is insane to me. That's ridiculous. I honestly don't even know what to say anymore when it comes to Hollywood. Like, they are some there's a, what is it, the Governor Awards are tonight or whatever. It's all over my Twitter feed. Because I'm a masochist apparently, but the Governor Awards are tonight, and I'm like, I really actually don't care. But like, how are you going to in one breath say that over half the country is like, doesn't need to see your movie and go to this award show, but then like talk about how, oh, the modern audience, like, do you even know who you're talking to? Because I fall into that demographic that you are trying to claim is the modern audience. I am a female from the ages of 18 to 35. Like, I am literally who you claim all of this trash is for. And I am so sick of you using my age group, using us as the freaking modern audience. And then people are like, oh, well, it's not actually for you. It's for, it's not just women who are age 18 to 35, but it's women who are, what is it, BIPOC or queer or like whatever. Like, you have to check 1,000 more boxes. And I'm like, remember when you could just make a movie that appealed to people from all parts of the political sphere? You remember that? No? Yeah. I've seen better days. But it's true in video games. It's true in novels. It's true in film. It's true in television. It's true in academia. It's every freaking where. You cannot escape it. Yeah, the companies have lost billions, but we've lost our mythos. We've lost our escapism, and you need that. That's how you stay fucking sane. Like, that is how, when you're in shit situations, that's how you pull through. No, you can't live in escapism 24/7 because then you end up delusional and insane. But you can't live in reality 24/7 either, because the immense weight that's going to have is going to crush you. It's about balance. And that is something that these companies don't understand and will never understand. So, no, I don't think that brand damage can be salvaged. I think the IPs can be salvaged if we cut the cancer out. That's about where we're at. And no, you can't ever unsee it. But if you could actually separate it and not just in your head, if you could legitimately say, hey, here's everything so like, here is OG Lucasfilm LTD properties, and then over there is the Disney shit, and you could actually physically separate them out, there might be a chance. But I don't know anybody who has the time, the money, or the vested interest in pop culture who could do that. And that's the sad fact. That is legitimately the sad fact. It is about propaganda and consumption. It is not about escapism and expression. And that's just devastating. And I can't wait to get back to it. And if it is purely the indie sphere doing it, well, then the indie sphere is going to be a much more attractive place for many more reasons. But just something for you guys to kind of think about. I was only going to go for an hour tonight because it's already late. But chat, you're amazing. You're wonderful. Beautiful. Undefeated as always. You remain undefeated. And I really do appreciate you guys. So, this was a fun chat. But I will see you guys probably sooner than you think. I do have some stuff that I'm working on, that I've been working on for a very long time, that is almost ready. I hope you all had a great weekend. And as always, God bless, Godspeed, much love, and good night.
Fly, you fools!